Decentralized finance is going to disrupt the entire global economy, not just on the terms of replacing money and making a better money, but in making a better global economy, including all quadrillions worth of assets, everything from the derivatives, the stock market, debt, real estate, and the broad money supply. Hi guys, my name is Colin and this is Colin Talks Crypto. What is going to be bigger? Is it going to be decentralized internet money, Bitcoin? Or is it going to be DeFi, decentralized finance on platforms like Ethereum, EOS, etc.? And I really like this image. And honestly, it slapped me in the face with something I should have seen a long time ago. I even made a video a long time ago showing the breakdown of all these different sectors and how much money is involved in each of these different sectors of our world economy. And so on this chart, we have gold at $11 trillion. We have stocks at $90 trillion. The broad money supply at $96 trillion. We have debt at $253 trillion. Real estate at $281 trillion. And derivatives at $559 trillion, half a quadrillion dollars in derivatives. That blows my mind. And DeFi touches all of these. Derivatives can be done with smart contract platforms by issuing tokens that replicate and imitate derivatives. Non-fungible tokens can handle real estate. You can put anything in a non-fungible token representing independent value of a unique limited asset. For debt, DeFi can handle that with lending platforms, loans. We're seeing that today on Ethereum and other platforms. Broad money, that can be handled by stable coins and other tokenized assets. Stocks, again, another token on a blockchain. So these are all disrupted. These are all disrupted by DeFi. And essentially, the market cap's being approached by the solution of decentralized money, Bitcoin, sending value peer-to-peer, cross borders, etc., which is an enormous and amazing, incredible innovation, the likes of which we haven't seen for thousands of years. This is a truly remarkable innovation, Bitcoin, right? That aside, if you look at the figures of how much money that encompasses, we're looking at what Bitcoin attempting to be made into as a gold replacement, a store of value replacement. That's $11 trillion, only $11 trillion out of this entire array of subsectors of the world economy. And I had actually meant to add this up before I started recording this video. I didn't, so I'll just try to do it real quick off the top of my head here. It looks like it's about $1.4 quadrillion tied up in all these assets that are shown on this chart that you're seeing. That's 1,400 trillion. And I'm just doing this off the top of my head here, looking at these figures, so you can add it up if you want. And if gold is 11 trillion of that, that's the smallest pittance percentage of the entire market cap when we look at all those sectors combined. And so the thing that kind of slapped me in the face was that fact, how small of a solution Bitcoin is solving. And yet, with everything I just said and praised it for, how amazing it is. I'm not discrediting or belittling or making less of what Bitcoin is doing. Bitcoin is phenomenal. Bitcoin has opened up the gates to what we're seeing here. But what I'm seeing here is that with only 11 trillion out of 1,400 trillion for Bitcoin to be solving the problem, that leaves 1,380 trillion that decentralized finance can solve. So the bet here, the big money bet, looks like it's on decentralized finance to me right now. And that makes me really glad that my portfolio has about half of it in platforms that can support decentralized finance applications. And those, by definition, have to be smart contract platforms because you need programmability. So the likes of Ethereum is a first contender for that DeFi space. And as we've seen, Ethereum has been leading the charge in the DeFi space, absorbing enormous amounts of money for purely DeFi applications. Sadly, something that Bitcoin pushed away the developers pushed away as something that could happen. And Vitalik, seeing that the developers on Bitcoin weren't going to make it possible to enable what he was trying to build, which became Ethereum, he moved off and made his own platform. But he was trying to build this on Bitcoin. All of this DeFi would have been built on Bitcoin itself if it wasn't for those decisions. But we won't get into too much on that because there's all sorts of reasons and debates on why Bitcoin should just be money and it shouldn't be other things. And I agree with some and I don't agree with others. Bitcoin Cash takes a different approach where it does say it can scale to be both a money and do some smart contracting and tokens as well. And I think that's really smart personally. But basically what we have here is we have Bitcoin dominating currently, maybe not forever, the gold space, the digital gold realm, and the broad money category here represents about $96 trillion. And to me, that represents things like Bitcoin Cash being used as money. Ethereum is used as money. EOS is used as money. All these tokens can be used as money. Really, all tokens except those that are too expensive to easily use as money, which is basically what Bitcoin's developers are striving to make it become. There may be some limited applications where Bitcoin is still used as money, but that's becoming decreasingly the case as fees go up and confirmation times goes up. So we're going to just take the development path for Bitcoin that we see presented to us as the intention for the future and say that Bitcoin will encompass the gold 11 trillion category. And all the other cryptocurrencies that have low fees and fast transaction times and that may or may not have smart contract capabilities can also encompass the broad money category as well as the gold category. So there's some overlap there. But DeFi, only smart contract blockchains can encompass all the rest of the categories. So that encompasses stocks for 90 trillion. We have debt for 253 trillion. We have real estate for 281 trillion. And we have derivatives, $559 trillion. And all of these subcategories of our world economy can be encompassed by smart contract blockchains operating DeFi protocols. And that to me is such a strong bullish case for myself personally being vested in the DeFi space and protocols which support decentralized finance. Because I see this as being utterly huge in the decade and decades to come. None of this is overnight. It took Bitcoin 10 years to reach the point where it's got a $200 or $150 billion market cap with a B. So we have a lot of room to go, not only for Bitcoin to reach the 11 trillion that gold is, or surpass gold, because Bitcoin is superior to gold. Let there be no doubt about that. But what about this $1.4 quadrillion that the decentralized finance space utilizing smart contract blockchains can literally rewrite, rework, overtake, and supersede as superior? It can take out middlemen. It can create better solutions that cost less, that are more responsive, faster transactions, tokenization of assets with NFTs, DeFi lending, derivatives. All this can be run on smart contract blockchains. And so I think this is where the future is. And I think that there's even more enormous. If you thought that 2017, where Ethereum went from like $14 to $1,400, a 100x increase, if you think that was big, I think that we're just getting started. I think that was the clue that this is something freaking huge. And keep in mind, back in 2017, we didn't have a whole lot of decentralized finance going on. That is something that is new in the past couple of years. So smart contract blockchain platforms are continuing to show greater and greater functionality. And it makes sense because you can program it. This is kind of just avalanching in a cascade in my mind right now, but it's the exact same as the centralized counterpart where we had MS-DOS, and then you had the first programming languages on it with Quick Basic and C and C++. And then using those programming languages, anything could be built. We took a calculator and we turned it into a supercomputer that can do anything. Any function can be performed on a computer, basically. And that's owed to the programming languages. So in a matter of 10 years, we just went from the MS-DOS, which is Bitcoin, to Windows with a programming language that you can make anything on, which is Ethereum and EOS and Tezos and Tron and all these other ones, like them or hate them. Smart contract blockchains are that next evolution. They are absolutely the next phase in blockchain. And it's interesting that Bitcoin can only do a value transfer, but EOS, Ethereum, Tron, Tezos, all these other ones, they can do value transfers as well. There's nothing stopping them. There's also nothing stopping them from creating tokens on their blockchains that perform that exact function of limited supply, just like Bitcoin. So in my mind, the long-term prospect of Bitcoin is not looking too bright here. I know this sounds crazy to say, but everything that Bitcoin can do, these smart contract platforms can do, and can do way better, plus more. So my money on the long term is on decentralized finance, these smart contract blockchain platforms, and applications that we haven't even yet seen come to fruition. We had tokenization of assets and ICOs. ICO boom was huge in 2017-18. That was the huge thing back then. Now we have DeFi being the huge thing. What's to say that there's another huge thing coming down the road, like NFTs, non-fungible tokens representing huge amounts of value with collector tokens, or property ownership on the blockchain? I remember hearing Andreas Antonopoulos talk about all these amazing concepts back in the early days of Bitcoin. And I think that they are coming true. It's just taking a little longer than we expected. But at the same token, the advancement rate for these innovations is truly incredible. I mean, we're having a complete innovation of a 1.4 quadrillion market cap economy in a matter of a decade or two, like a couple decades. And we're going to have this whole thing completely revamped and reprogrammed, pun intended. Whew. Okay, I just had to share that with you guys. I just really think this bodes strongly for smart contract applications. And so right now, we're in the DeFi phase. Like I said, we had the ICO phase. That was a mania. And I think that's going to come back as well. Now we have the DeFi mania. And we're going to have other manias because a smart contract platform is programmable. The possibilities are utterly limitless with a programming language. That is why they are so amazing. So sorry, all you maximalists out there who are Bitcoin maximalists who are going to be like left in the dust big time. And I think many of you will eventually migrate over to understanding what this programming aspect of smart contract blockchains truly opens up as the potentiality. And I hope that you do. My encouragement's to you to open your eyes and to not be blind to that, because I too was blind during the first couple of years when these other currencies were coming out. I thought, no, Bitcoin's it. I only want Bitcoin to be the one. And honestly, opening my eyes was the greatest thing that I've ever done in the crypto space. It allowed me to look at things a lot more level-headed, a lot more rational, and to make better decisions, because I'm not blinded to the fact that there's an enormous volume of innovation happening outside of Bitcoin right now. And I think that that's only going to continue. I can't see it going away. This decentralized finance is going to be utterly huge. So I'm really happy to be on board. And there are certain platforms that pique my interest. And there are things happening on Ethereum with this loop ring technology, allowing instantaneous transactions. And there are a couple platforms to me that are going to be part of the rails underpinning this future. And those are things like the DApp token from Liquid Apps, connecting blockchains and sharing resources so that we're not just these isolated little islands of computational power and resources, but they're interconnected webs of power. And things like stablecoins and the Vigor protocol on EOS and the EOSDT, Equilibrium stablecoin protocol, and Ethereum's decentralized finance applications that are coming to light now, where there's like instantaneous transactions with free fees, like Loopring, basically enabling decentralized finance at scales never before possible. And these are just the tips of the icebergs. There are more out there. I'm going to start digging into these because I really think these are the future. That's all I have to say, guys. I'm just super excited about decentralized finance, and I think that you should pay attention. Otherwise, you might be missing a great subset in the ever-evolving evolution of blockchain technology. It's truly an exciting time to be in, guys. Have a great day.